Hello YouTubers. This is a welder I picked up on Kijiji. It's an Acklands Midget. There's Acklands Granger, Winnipeg, Canada. And there's the Midget. Now we look up here and you'll see KB 084195. Now if you go to the Miller website and click on their service, you'll see a window drop down for owner's manuals. You type that serial number in there and out pops a service manual for a Miller, what are they called? Not a sidekick, but a cricket, a Miller cricket. And the KB, if you look in their serial number, is a 91. So this is a 91 Miller cricket badged as an Acklands Midget. Scary, eh? Now this welder is a 70 amp. He said, ooh, 70 amps, that sucks. Well, it sucks unless you're into sheet metal work. These were made for body shops back in the day. So I hear, anyway, that they are the one of the best welders that you could get back in the day. Let's open the side up. There's the I put a new reel of wire in it. The wire that was in it was rusted. But the condition of this welder is hard to believe. It looks like it was never used. And it also, back in the day when you bought these, they didn't come with gas. You had to buy a valve for the gas and install that, and a line and a flow meter. And it came with that flow meter right there. It's a Uniweld flow meter, which is not a bad little rig. Now, what else can I tell you? That's about it for now. I'm going to try this thing out. I cleaned it up, just dusted it off with a rag, and I cleaned the gun a bit. Let's see, there you go. It needed to be, I took the whole thing apart, blew the dust out of it, and what happened was it was bird nesting. Bird nesting is when the wire gets jammed up right around here, and you have a big bird's nest of wire. Well, that was because the wire that was in it was rusty. So I'm going to pause this right now and put it on a stand so I don't make it all seasick. Just hang on. Now here's something else that this is the chart inside. It tells you what thicknesses and what settings to start with. And for flux core, DC electrode negative, 30-inch 030 wire. The maximum is 12 gauge and thicker. You put it on 4 and 90. But the recommended maximum on this machine is 3/16, which isn't a whole lot. And for 035 wire, same thing, only on 60. Maximum is 3/16. Now when you go into the MIG welding with gas, DC electrode positive, and stick out is a 1/4 inch. CO2, but nobody uses CO2 anymore, it's too nasty. So you use gas, and the maximum that they recommend is 14 to 13 gauge with this welder. Now 13 gauge is not quite a 1/8 of an inch. So they want you to weld with gas less than an 1/8 of an inch is the max on this thing. Now this is not like a lot of the Canadian Tire welders and whatnot that you see. They say you can weld a 1/2 inch steel, build a boat and come back for more. That's bullshit. This is recommended. After that, it would get dangerous. if you were trying to build something structural and you were welding thicker than 13 gauge, you're asking for trouble. So let's pause this again for a second. Okay, we're back. I'm going to do a little testing of this welder. Now, those of you that seen my other videos pretty much know I'm not what you call a pro, so you can bear with me. And some of you might wonder what this thing is. It's a light. It's for us blind guys. Okay, I got, let's see, 22 gauge sheet metal, which is thin. This thing is, according to the chart, you should be able to weld 20 gauge to 13 gauge. 20 gauge is usually body metal. Well, we're going to go with 22 and see what it does. So we'll go on number 1 and 50, they're calling to start this thing off. I'll put it on 60, number 1. And let's put on the gas. I got C25 running about 20 on the machine there. Got my light happening. So try to up that to 7. Run a couple of beams across the plate here. Seems to be alright. Burning through on the edges, so I think I beat it down with a hammer to get the crust up. And it's thinner than 22 there. But running beads across the surface, I'll show you. You have to bear with me for a second. I'm fogging up here. I'll show you these beads. It's running pretty good. Let's try putting that back together and see if I spot welded it a little better. Doing a lot better. So you pretty much have to spot weld the 22 gauge. But if you're, let's see how a T-joint goes there. Pretty good job. A little burn through there though, I let it get too hot. Let's try, this is 13 gauge. Actually it might be 14 gauge. And this is pretty much the max, so we're going to crack it on 4. Pick it up to about 90. What it said. Back it to 100. Well, that's ugly, but it would do the trick if you could stay on the stay on the line. Now, I'll see if I can bring you in for some close-ups of that welding that I did, if that's what you want to call it. There's the 22 gauge. You notice the beads I run across the surface aren't burning through, but anything close to the edge, if I run it without spot welding, it starts to burn through. But it's only 22 gauge. So. And here's the 13 gauge or 14 gauge, and that lays a pretty good bead down. It could be a lot better if I put my cheater lens in like that, but I forgot to stick it in there. So let's see this side. That's ugly, but it was laying down good. I just couldn't quite see where the hell I was going there. Now the point of all this is, can you buy a welder for $100 that you can do body work with? And yes, you can. Grab yourself a Miller Cricket, or maybe a Miller Sidekick. This Cricket is also made in it's called a Miller Cricket XL, and it is a 90 amp, which is comparable to the Miller 140s that you can buy today. Pretty much the same power. But this one here is meant for sheet metal only, and it does a good job. Get a welder that knows what he's doing, and he could weld all day with that thing, not have a problem. All I had to do with it was just clean it up, blow the dust out of the liner, and change the wire to wire that wasn't rusted, and works like a charm. Alright, later YouTubers.